Welcome to the Destiny Expanse, a podcast about all things Destiny. I'm Quasi. With me, as always, Charger. What's up, man?
Good evening, Guardians. How we all doing out there?
Oh, man, I hope everybody's doing great. Today's show is going to be a little more impromptu than usual. We don't have any Luke Smith quotes, which is sad. Are you sad about this? I know I am. Well, I guess you're not very sad. But what we do have is Glacier White PlayStations again. Beta details, dates, times, salt, and subclasses. Before we get into that, though, let's kick off this discussion table with some videos coming from IGN's exclusive first looks at Destiny 2. Now, again, the PlayStation, before we get into this IGN first look stuff, the PlayStation is releasing an all-new Glacier White PS4 Pro Destiny 2 bundle. Charger, does anyone care?
Oh, I'm sure there's people that care. I think it's a good thing that they're coming out with it. I'm just it's a little bland. Me personally, you know,
it looks strikingly similar to the Glacier White Destiny bundle that I have sitting on my right next to my
from
Xbox.
3 years ago. I mean, what happened? You had a few cases left over, stick some nuts in it. I mean, I got the same
thing, right? You just slap some new cardboard around it.
Yeah, I got. Let's hope everything's upgraded in there. You know, I mean, I got the Taken King edition, and yes, for those out there that are listening that know me, it's still in the damn box. Okay.
Oh, you're saying you're an Xbox player, huh?
Just maybe a little.
Oh, okay.
Good thing. I think it promotes the game. We knew it was coming, but I'm just, man, as much is going on with Destiny 2, the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, you can't deny, no matter where you go and where you're looking at, there's something that's going on with Destiny 2 as far as when it's coming out, what's going on with the beta, what's going on with this, what Luke said, what David Samuel did online. Awesome. But with all that stuff going on, to just come out with just a plain white PS4. I mean, if I was an adamant PS4 player, Destiny fan, I'd be like, what the heck happened here? We run out of gas? What went down, you know?
Oh, it's so pristine, though, you know, and when you put that Glacier White in front of it, it just,
yeah.
Doesn't really do anything. And that price point doesn't really sway me either, man. That $400. I'm not going to be upgrading. I'm sorry.
This is true. But for those people that don't have a PlayStation and they want to get involved with it,
it's a good time
and they like Destiny 2, hey, there it is. Make it happen.
Yeah. And speaking of Destiny 2, I mean, we're going to be talking about these IGN first looks, and these videos have been coming out fast and furious, and they've been really good, man. Really enjoying that. I don't know how IGN. I know they're a little known company. I don't know how they're getting all these first looks, but it's pretty awesome. We finally got our first look at the Warlock Voidwalker. I mean, what are your takeaways from seeing that in action?
Well, here's the first thing that I noticed about the Voidwalker. Okay, I was happy to see Blink. Readily
I think you just said something stupid.
Yeah, I know you were going to say that, but you know, some of the old with all these changes, seeing some of the old stuff to me is a good thing, because I don't think they've let every single cat out of the bag, and to see Blink, I was happy to see that.
Oh, I was not.
One of the first things that I noticed is that Voidwalker Super. It is ginormous.
Yeah,
it tracks, and it tracks quite aggressively around corners, better than anything I've ever seen before in my life. Whether that was something that was just set up in the test element that they were basically presenting that to IGN at or not, I don't know. I know they had different, disclaimers out there saying, this heavy ain't going to pop as much as what you're seeing on this test element. But yeah, jeepers criminy, that thing was huge.
They just turned the the Voidwalker subclass into the truth.
Well,
sorry for nerfing the truth to the ground. Here,
yeah,
make up for it with your subclass.
I was like, when I first saw that, I'm like, good Lord, look at that thing. And then it started going around the corner, and then they flipped the screen. It says Titan perspective, and it's got all kinds of void chatter and sparks and everything else flying all over the place. I'm like, wow, look out.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, it looks like you can only use your super pretty much once a game, like once a PvP match. I mean,
don't quote me on that. I didn't get into it.
Well, it just looks like it's so much faster paced. And that's something else that these first looks have kind of shown is that with this 4v4 format, you like supers just don't build and generate quite as fast. I mean, maybe they do when you have people that are PvP gods like come at me or something, but it just for a simpleton like me, yeah, maybe I may not even get my super.
It's a good question because the layout that we had in Destiny 1, we could control that.
Right.
We could control whether if we wanted to get our super as fast as possible, or have those additional grenades, or have that additional melee or knife or smoke if you were a hunter, so on and so forth. I'm really interested to see how exactly that plays out, and if there's any way that you can influence that in any such shape or form.
Well, yeah, because your gear's not going to be able to do it anymore.
Correct.
So that's going to be interesting. What happens with that?
That's not going to be there. And even though I'm sitting back saying, look at the size of that Nova bomb and how it tracks and everything else like that.
Yeah, that's what she said.
It was a once and done type thing. Now everything we've seen with the gunslinger from the hunter compared to the striker titan. The striker titan could sit down and drop 2 or 3 slams and then get a few shoulder charges all in one super run, or a gunslinger had multiple shots as opposed to limited to the 3 or the 4, depending on what helmet you were wearing in D1.
Right.
So maybe the size of that Voidwalker is on a once and done. They want to make sure you have that ability to take out content like that, but boy, don't get pulled together with that Warlock Voidwalker, because it's going to take out half the map if you're pulled together, especially in a control map like they were.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So they also showed off the first look of the Titanal. I can't talk, man. The Titan Sentinel in PvP, and God, man, that thing looked amazing. Captain America just got dropped into Destiny 2. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was intense. The way it's following with the trails and everything else, and just the one thing that I'm noticing more than anything on this, I know you mentioned in a separate conversation on the opening mission on Homecoming, but within this gameplay trailer, the reveal, the sound on this thing it's I don't know how else to say it. It draws you in more than what some of the sounds and supers were in D1. I don't know if it's something that's enhanced, if they changed it around, but I mean, it brought me out. It kind of opened my eyes more to the whole situation just because of the sound envelopes that were going on with it, not to mention what you saw visually.
Right. I thought it was pretty impressive. I mean, when he did that super, it looked like he got 3 good throws, kind of like how the Striker Titan is going to have 3 smashes now. But the speed and being able to seeing that shield in action was so incredible. I mean, just blew my mind. Kind of like what was that guy's name? David Samuel.
Mr. David Samuels. Mr. Man. Awesome.
Yeah, Captain SFX track. He's a new Mike Winslow, man.
Some people made fun of that guy, the Taken King. I'm going, that guy is pumped. He's excited, and he wants to get that. He wants to give you the work that he put his heart and soul into. And I mean, this last video, he's doing the same thing over again. I was like, yes,
right. Finally, his stash, man.
Finally.
Stash.
Well, yeah, the stash of the Taken King, and compared to the beard he's got now, I don't know if he's trying to follow Luke's footsteps or not. But David, if you're listening, don't do that. Don't do that.
Something else that caught my attention was the Gatling gun with the Sentinel, and okay, so I'm not a great PvPer, but dude, whoever was cruising around with that Sentinel Titan was just badass. Pre-firing that Gatling gun, it was just ripping through people. I mean, is this our first real candidate for the Nerf board?
Well, you could definitely tell whoever was playing it. They might have had a few hours in the seat with the controller, because that you could see it right away. I mean, he's coming around, he's watching his radar, something's popping up, he's pre-charging that thing, and I mean, makes me wonder how that particular player that was playing with that would do with a fusion rifle, because it would probably react similar in nature. Okay, you've got a very, very slow rate of fire that's not doing a lot of DPS, and depending on how the guns act, let's just say the guns are acting the same way in D1 as they do in D2. So you got someone on the other end that's got a high caliber round weapon and they're rat-tat-tatting you in the head and the face and everything else, you're gonna be bouncing all over the place. That makes using a fusion rifle or using something like that Gatling really hard. But I mean, that guy, he had his timing down because he just sit back, pre-charge it, and it's like the minute that other Guardian would come back into focus, he was already has the RPMs up on that Gatling and just eating away at the other Guardian's health.
Yeah, a little fun fact: the only fusion rifle I've ever used in PvP is the Mythoclast.
Mythical. No Plan C when that first came out.
No, man, I can't stand fusion rifles.
Oh, Plan C.
I'm beyond that, clearly.
Many days when I first got the Plan C. Well, actually, before that, if it really want to be technical, oh God, why am I forgetting the name of that first fusion rifle that they never made an exotic? Dang it, I forget the name of it. It's been that long, but it would shoot multiple rounds all at once and it would melt people. But with the Plan C, you know, it's like if I get into a primary fight with somebody and take at least their shield down, or at least get their shield down low, pop out Plan C and just nail them with it. I can't tell you how many times I run and gun with that.
Yeah, I hear Go talking about it all the time. He's so gratified by every kill he gets. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It always makes me angry whenever I get killed by a fusion rifle when I'm playing PvP.
It's a real good weapon, debating on how the opposing Warlock. You know, you got a lot of Warlocks like running around with solar flame shield, so they get up close to you and they've got an additional what seems like an additional 5 foot of melee capability, and you're trying to take down that shield with your primary and then whipping out the Plan C. It really wipes that out and kind of puts you on an even tone, you know, for everything in the game. And that's the one thing that I didn't really care for with a lot of the nerfs. For everything that's out there in the game, there is a counter.
Okay? Yeah, it's called fusion grenades.
Well, you have you have that as well, but there is some kind of counter, and if you can adapt that ability to understand what that counter is and how to use it when someone is using, you know, item A, B, or C against you, that to me is more gratifying with the whole situation. And I think if people actually learn how to do that, or if there was something out there that would tell people how to do that, I think Bungie might stay away from that nerf button a little bit more. But like you said, with that Gatling gun, if everybody learns how to do that, my guess is you're going to see everyone doing exactly what you saw in that video.
Oh yeah. Yeah, great tutorial. Thank you. So
here first.
Yeah, yeah, that's what their first look's really for. What do you think about the Warlock having an overshield buff ability in the Titan's Ice Wall? I thought that was kind of cool. The overshield ability, though, I couldn't tell if was that for everybody or just the Warlock. I'm assuming it's for everyone that was in that circle that's on that team.
You know what? That's a good question. I'm not really sure about that. You know, I mean, that's something new to D2, and that's something that's going out there for all the characters. I haven't seen anything particular for the Hunter yet, but, you know, you've seen multiple clips with Dotto on the Ice Wall and, you know, the other shields that the Titans are able to pull up. And then obviously the health and healing or the overshield buff that you saw here with the Voidwalker. That's got to be something within the stats and ability nodes within each character and subclass.
Right. And I think that's really cool, actually, that it's not tied to your super at all. I mean, it's like that third ability, like your grenade and your punch, and then you have your overshield buff or your Titan Ice Wall or whatever that other wall from the Striker Titan. I thought that was pretty cool. So what did you think about the pace of the PvP gameplay that they showed with the 4v4? And now you automatically have your for A and C in controller already captured. It's just you're really fighting over B.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, if you really think about it, unless, at least for me, what I viewed, once you get into control, and I mean, Iron Banner control was where it all started out at. And that was literally almost every single time everyone would want to try to run to capture B point, because you would have part of that bounty within Iron Banner. Most of the time, if I wasn't playing that, most people would sit back at, you know, C or A, capture that, and then you go for the fight at B. With this, what I think they're trying to do is speed up that action and speed up that gameplay. And the game, like I said, the gameplay itself looks like it's a little bit quicker. So by forcing that, and then the way the points are rewarded, if you have the two areas of points or all 3 areas of points, and you start getting those kills, you can really start pulling away from that opposing team, provided you go and attack. And if you don't go back and attack, you know, it's to me, it's forcing more people to get involved. Now, if you're a sniper or anything else like that, you're not going to have that. But at the same time, don't forget, folks, your snipers now moved into the power slot. So it's not like you're going to sit down and have special time and time again.
Right. And that was something that they did point out. Well, not point out, but I did notice watching that video where the guy went and he picked up heavy. And then where it shows you did an emote or whatever, like, oh, he's dancing. It popped up and said that he picked up power ammo, and it gave the location. It said at the bend, like the call out or whatever. And
but yeah, it's gonna do that.
Whoa.
It's gonna, they showed that basically in the reveal, where you're sitting back and heavy ammo is gonna spawn. Now, whoever pulls that heavy ammo, or I shouldn't say heavy, I gotta get my verbiage changed around. Power ammo, it's only gonna drop for that one person, but it's gonna show you where they're at on the map and what item they're actually equipping, you know. So obviously, if you're sitting back and let's say, I don't want to say this, let's say you have a map that's got a large sniper lane, okay, and you see all the opposing team and no one's picking up sniper, you might be a little bit more tempted to go into that sniper lane to get to the next item or the next area or flank or what have you. Meanwhile, if you see a bunch of snipers coming in and it's on a sniper map, might not be so willing to go into that sniper lane and run into all that.
I thought it was really interesting that they're talking about how they're designing these maps for PvP to actually complement the game mode that it's for. So Control is going to have maps that are built and designed to be for Control, and then other maps are going to be designed for like Countdown and whatever else. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, we'll see how it pans out, but you know, I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, the one thing that I'm really having a hard time getting to a basis ground on, and me being the Grimoire guy, which we're not going to have in Destiny 2, and we all know that I'm not a big fan of that. How exactly is all that going to go? How do you know if you've played all the maps, or if you got to go play this game type to see this, to see that? You know, one thing with Destiny that I've always said is you need to go in and experience all of it. Destiny isn't just the strikes, it isn't just the raid, it isn't just Trials of Osiris, even though some of those things I know you don't necessarily care for. It's the entire experience and what it is that makes Destiny.
There's so much to do. I mean, you know, when we talk about not having enough content, oh, there's nothing to do. But in reality, I mean, yeah, when you've played the game for 2,000-3,000 plus hours, yeah, I mean,
I still find stuff to do.
You've done a lot. I mean, you've done it all, but there's still stuff to do. You're exactly right. There's still stuff to do for people that haven't collected all the calcified fragments. There's still fragments. There's still like SIVA clusters. There's still, and I know that doesn't sound like that. That's very exciting. Oh, I got to go collect this stuff. But if you actually sit down and you're like, hey, you know what? Today, I just feel like going and collecting some ghosts that I haven't found. And then you realize, oh my God, there's like 300 ghosts that I haven't found. Yeah. That takes time, and it actually kind of can become fun if you actually just sit down and do it. I don't know. There's a ton in the game to do. We never talk about, Prison of Elders or that stuff, but it's still there, and it still drops 400 gear, and it's still kind of fun to go in every now and then and just kind of wreck face. Well, so I enjoy it.
You know, one of the things that I was doing prior to the April update was I was always grinding out Queen's Wrath bounties, because it seemed like no matter where I went, you never saw any Queen's Wrath armor, nowhere. But previous to that, you would only get, 4 or 5 Queen's Wrath bounties for the week. So to get to that 3,000 threshold to get that next piece of armor, it took you a little while, and then previous to that, you didn't have the nightfall bonuses or anything else,
right?
Anything else like that. So it was something that was a slow grind, if there is such a thing. But once the April update hit, you got daily bounties on all that stuff. But you know, it's true. Going back in and doing that. The other day, I went back in and did a lower level PoE, just hoping to try to get another Her Benevolence that I could take back and re-roll that weapon through the gunsmith, since I got like 5,000 weapon parts now, where I couldn't do that back at that time because you couldn't buy weapon parts from any place, and you would literally have to go out on patrol and grind the living hell out of patrols, or get lucky and find a loot cave and then try to get enough weapon parts to try to re-roll that weapon.
I still haven't got past you saying that you're a slow grinder.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's how babies get made. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So if anyone has not watched these videos on IGN, I'd totally recommend that you head over to their site, check them out. Very cool, very insightful. They actually showed off the farm with interviews with Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, kind of talking over the footage that they had. I think they have some great footage, actual gameplay of both PvP and PvE, and solid content over there on that little known IGN site. Really enjoying the first looks overall. What are your thoughts on that?
I can't wait to play soccer.
As long as I get to be Real Madrid.
I just can't wait to play soccer. For those of you that don't know, there is going to be a soccer field at the farm. And let me see here. If I remember this rightly in my notes, yeah, that's going to be on. They're going to open up that farm on Sunday, July 23rd. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific. So for me, like I'm just south of Chicago. That's 12 p.m. noon Central. You know, et cetera, et cetera. And it's basically 1 hour to test to see how many people they can cram in all these little farms, because
so
the volume of the people that they're going to have in there, I think, is up to 25, if I remember reading correctly. So,
right, we're going to talk about this in a minute, because I definitely want to talk about that. So I think I was going to wrap that segment up. Let's get into beta talk here. Let's talk beta. First, we'll go over the details of dates and times, pre-orders, open beta times, and the systems that are getting it first, and then we'll unpack the details of what you can expect from the beta itself. The open beta, let's clarify open here. Open beta begins July 21st through the 23rd. If you have actually pre-ordered Destiny 2 on PlayStation or Xbox, you will have early access. That beta begins first on PlayStation July 18th. That's actually this upcoming Tuesday, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is coming quick, man. And then the very next day, people that have pre-ordered Destiny 2 will be able to get it and have early access on July 19th on the Xbox. So Tuesday for PlayStation players, and Wednesday for Xbox players. PC's beta has been announced as being sometime in August, not sure when yet. Sunday, July 23rd, as you just said, the open beta is going to allow the farm to be accessible for 1 hour, beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which, in my opinion, I think this space should just be open already. I think that's kind of stupid, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. The beta will include the first story mission of Destiny 2 called Homecoming, along with the Strike, the Inverted Spire, 2 Crucible game modes, Control and Countdown, and 2 maps will be playable for the PvP portion of the game. The beta will also allow players to use the Dawnblade Warlock, the Arcstrider Hunter, and the Sentinel Titan. Characters, progression, and all items will not be carried forward into Destiny 2, but Bungie announced that for those who played the beta, they will be given a special emblem for their participation once Destiny 2 arrives. Very cool. We always love our emblems. I wish I got a shader for it too, for like a nice participation shader. Even if it said participation on it or beta somewhere, I would be okay with that.
Participant. Bumper sticker, forehead.
Yeah, so let's talk about this beta a little bit, and maybe a little bit of the differences. I did not play the beta when Destiny first launched. You did.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about some of the differences that we're seeing here.
Well, in the Destiny 1 beta, you were able to go up to, I believe it was light level 7 or 8. So you actually went in, and if you were lucky enough on the very, very early stages, you were actually able to go to not only Earth but the moon. But the moon got shut down real quick, and I don't know if it was because there was too many people on it and it just wasn't ready, vice versa. I never made it to the moon. I wish I would have been one of those ones that made it to the moon, because I saw the pictures and whatnot. But Um, I was not. So basically, what you did was you came in and you were able to go through the tower, and you were able to go basically on the Cosmodrome and just basically wander around. And I think you could go all the way up into the rocket yard, and then out into the moth yards, and then a little bit up, you could go up into the Forgotten Shore. But there was different things that you were doing. There was little patrol aspects, but what it did was it opened up that Destiny universe to you to see what was there. And it for me, like I said in episode 1, what really brought me into Destiny, and besides looking at the gameplay, so on and so forth, was seeing that environment, hearing the music that went with it and everything else. So when that beta came out and you were able to go through the moth yard and look at basically a once great time frame or era that basically has fallen and collapsed, and it's because of a darkness, but you don't know what the darkness is, and so on and so forth. And there's this alien race called the Fallen, and there's this alien race called the Hive, and what's going on. It brought you into all that. Same thing with Destiny 2. None of the stuff that you had actually progressed yourself forward. Right. The only thing that there was their emblems. There was the emblem for playing in the beta, and then there was another emblem if you basically loaded up Destiny within the first week before reset. You had an emblem that was basically given to you. Now, the one thing that was different in Destiny 1 that I haven't seen yet, and I'll say that again, I haven't seen yet, is they had multiple shaders and multiple emblems that were codes that would bring you basically back to the Destiny site.
People would sell on eBay for $5.
And people would sell on eBay for $5. Yeah. And I think what it was to basically keep everybody informed and to see how much traffic they had going on with all that. Obviously, if you go to their website and enter in a code or anything else like that, they're going to know, okay, we had X amount of people that are entering these codes, and these codes are only going to be good if they get the game. So that's going to kind of give you an idea of, okay, how many people are going to be playing my game? How many people are going to be doing this? The one video, and I don't remember what it is, on YouTube, when they basically first launched Destiny, and they're at the Bungie headquarters out in Washington, and they're saying, we have 10 people online, we have 100 people online, we have 185 people online, and it's basically everyone was coming in and basically going into that Destiny world, so on and so forth. I'm sure that was a pretty special moment there for those guys at Bungie, just watching this thing that they've basically took the whole business, the whole company, shut it down and put all their eggs into that one basket. And then to see those fruits and what it drove into. Granted, they had a lot of backlash because it was, a cut up, rehashed, so on and so forth. But I mean, look where it's gone today, or where it's grown to today. So
right. Well, I mean, Destiny was praised for how great the beta was, and then immediately hammered on launch when the game was basically the beta. So
yeah,
kind of makes sense why they're not opening it up for all intents and purposes. I mean, this game, it looks, at least from what they've shown so far, it really does look very similar to vanilla Destiny. And I think let's, what are your expectations for the beta? I mean, I don't know. We already know what we're getting, so I don't know what expectations really are, other than finally getting hands-on and getting the feel of this. To me, I feel like this game just looks faster in a way, if that makes any sense. It looks a lot quicker than the old Destiny, and that's, I think that's surprising. That's interesting to me. I mean, I'm interested to see what kind of weapons will be available, if we're going to actually have access to that Gatling gun, the submachine gun, the grenade launcher. I mean, I'm betting that those are going to be included. I don't think they'll include any kind of exotics, because I doubt we'll be high enough light level to even get a legendary piece of armor. But
yeah, from what I understand, the same thing that you saw the gameplay in the gameplay reveal. Damn it, Charger! Get your words out, as Priest would say. you're gonna have access to the same thing. So I think pretty much verbatim, it's going to be the same thing that you saw all those reveal players and streamers and everything that you saw people playing at E3. You're going to have
So you think that
basically
we're going
a
to get
certain
all
amount
the
of
E3
guns.
stuff? Basically,
I think it would be simply
That's
because
interesting.
it's a very similar easy package to drop. They've already had that package out there for the reveal. They already had that package out there for E3. Whether, you know, if you watch some of those videos, it basically showed, okay, you're in orbit, you're doing this, you pick this mission, all of a sudden a set loadout basically drops for you. And that set loadout gives you the guns, so on and so forth, and you're looking at them. I think it's going to be the exact same thing. I really do. I don't think they're going to necessarily give something else out, which I'm happy to see, simply because with the PlayStation exclusives and everything else like that, I could see something real cheesy. Well, we got to use this gun during our open beta, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think it's going to be just a standard rollout package, the same thing that everybody else saw before, and get that in everyone's hands and then see exactly what transpires.
I'd be really on board with that. I hope that's right, and I mean that would be awesome if we actually got some time to experience some of these exotic weapons, especially if they're PlayStation exclusives that we're never going to get to touch before they get nerfed into oblivion. So
I don't know if we'll see any of that, but you know,
yeah, I know we're not. So speaking of things that make you salty, let's get to the salt here. For me, this is just this whole addition by subtraction with the subclasses being cut down, and they haven't officially announced this, but basically more or less, it kind of has that. I think we kind of know that there's only 2 subclasses. I've harped on this before. I'm harping on it again just because it does frustrate me. But this whole idea that we can give you less and then surprise you get more down the road with DLC. I would much rather have been a 4th subclass instead of, hey, we're gonna cut out the 3rd and we give that stuff to you a year down the road. I think that's a really poor decision. I don't like the cut with PvP down to 4v4 exclusively across all maps, or all game types. That 6v6, that's what we know. That's what I enjoy. That's the only kind of PvP I actually enjoy. The gun rolls I don't really care about so much. It is a grind to get the right gun, but you do lose that feeling of, dude, I just got a High Lord Fixer and it has all the great rolls on it.
mm-hmm.
I just got a God roll Ice Luna, you know, like I got a God roll LDR.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone, and that kind of bothers me. I mean, if it's going to be kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, I got this gun to finally drop. I mean, are they just going to cram more guns to the game so the chances of you actually getting that one gun that's really good is lower? Or I mean, I don't understand how that's going to work if all the rolls are going to be the exact same. But I don't know.
It's really hard to say. If they go that route, I hope they just understand one thing. If you're going to put a bunch of weapons out there, hey, cool, great, love it. Okay. But my one request, and I hope everybody else follows suit with me, if you're going to do that, I better have one spot for every single gun in my vault, plus what I have on my character. Because they said, you know, before they wouldn't expand the vault because of the legacy consoles and all that other stuff. Well, if they go crazy, and let's say we roll into another basically vanilla 2, you know, when it first started out, you had what, I think 20 slots in your vault. That was it.
That's about how many I have now, but they're full. So
that was it. 20 slots and you were done. There was no app. There was no third-party API. Nothing even remotely close. You wanted to rotate or switch stuff over, you had to go to the tower and do it. You know.
Yeah.
That's why all the hardcore players in year 1, they all had their Fatebringer. Sorry, Quaz. Vision of Confluence and Galahorn.
That's the real salt we're talking about now.
Hey, that's old salt. It's antiquated. And you had all those weapons, all those good weapons on each character. And that was just the way you rolled it out. And you know what? I loved year 1. I did. I really, really did.
No, I did
not a lot of people agree with me, and you know, that's fine. But you know, to get those weapons, you know, to get your Galahorn or to get your you know, your Vex, so on and so forth. It just there was nothing like it.
It was like Christmas.
I don't see that happening in Destiny 2 based on what I know.
But there are things they could do that would, again, just like what they did with Lost Light and the Black Spindle, adding
that was fantastic.
Things like that, where you just stumble into, oh my God, I just found this amazing exotic, you know, but I had to really work hard to get it. That's awesome. I mean, if that's how it's going to be, that's awesome. I'm on board with that 100%. If that's how they want to do it, and if it's like Sleeper Simulant, where it's like, oh man, I have all these great ideas. Well, you know, this ties into this and this and this and this. If you look at the lore, it says this, and then it's like, oh, they just flipped a switch, and now we have access to the mission. God damn, you know, like that's not what I want. Do I want the sleeper? Yes. Do I want to have them flip a switch so I can get it? Not really. You know, let us search for it. That extends the longevity of the game. I mean, you know, talk about like in-game content. Although, dude, if there's one thing that this game has taught me, is that the people in the Destiny community are literally nuts. I mean, who in the world figured out like, oh, I'm going to unplug my my modem and freeze Crota? I mean, how does that happen?
Or leave.
I'm gonna toss grenades at this guy's feet and just push him off.
Well,
what?
Most of that stuff, I remember Crota, because I remember when that first came out, and it was a disconnect, is what it was. Just, you know, you get one of your random Bungie animal disconnects. Okay, you've been beavered, you've been anteater, you've been beetled.
Stupid monkey.
And it was in the middle of them taking down Crota, and you know the guy was still in the party, and he's like, you know, we're doing damage to Crota, he's not moving, take the sword, kill him, boom, boom, boom. And once that went live, it spread like wildfire. You know, and it took Bungie a little while to get it fixed, but in the meantime, you know, everyone else was basically raping that glitch for all it was worth.
Oh man, you can't underestimate the ingenuity of the community. It's pretty impressive. I mean, just even the like finding the little glitchy spots where you can break down into the game and oh hey, look, I found the ghost shell from the Strike, the PlayStation exclusive Strike that we're not supposed to have, but I got it on my Xbox. You know, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that, or you look at the Outbreak Prime mission. I mean, intense. You know, as far as with all the things that you had to do with that and the server farm. I mean, you look at what we said. There's got to be something more in here than just this. What is it? What's it leading to? So on and so forth. And when we first saw that thing drop at 390 and we were only all 385, we're like, holy crap! You know, God, I got to get that. We got to figure this out. And then you start going through it. It's like, man. And then you saw the amount of people that were on the Destiny Reddit getting involved with it and trying to figure it out. And then they finally figured out, okay, it's a binary code set. And the binary code says this, and this leads to this modder, and that leads to that modder. And where are all these modders at?
You know, and that's something that if they stick to something like that, but use that formula with strikes or story missions or whatever, just kind of hide stuff here and there, instead of just making this ridiculously long quest. Like you remember that Crucible quest line that lasted like 12 years? Yeah.
And you got the hot rod at the end.
Oh man,
I still have my hot rod, baby.
Yeah. Not worth it. Not worth it.
That's one of those guns you can't get no more. So that's why it is worth it.
Sure.
People walk around seeing me with that big red tube on my shoulder. Better watch out.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna mess you up. So let's get into final thoughts here. What are you looking forward to the most about the beta?
Just being able to go in and play it. For me, I'm more of a attack type guy, so I'm going to be looking hard at the subclass, how it lays out, how it progresses, what's in it, what could be broke out, what I think they might be holding back for a later time, because I know that's going to happen.
Like our third subclass.
Well, the third subclass, it's going to happen. For subclass, I don't know about. You know, it's gonna be vanilla for Destiny 2 all over again.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think all the new players are gonna love it. And they're gonna fall in love with it. Okay. Whether it keeps them there to fill the sales of Destiny 2 and keep the ship full steam ahead, I don't know. Okay. For any of us players that have been on since year 1 or since year 2 or year 3 or all 3 years, I might be wrong here, but I really, really, really doubt that there is going to be the content that we have today available in Destiny 2. They're talking about patrols and the treasure maps.
I mean,
and
I think eventually at launch, no, but
it'll
year
get there
when Destiny 3 is going to be launching, if that's what they're going to call it. Yeah, I think by then they'll have added a significant amount of content, just like what we have now, which that's one thing that does kind of bother me about this game. Extending the longevity by giving us stuff like, oh, hey, here's that third subclass, and I keep harping on that. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but it's things like that just, that's not what I'm looking for. I want you to give me a little bit more than that. Like
no, I mean, we all
as a fourth character, if we could have played as, whatever. Oh man, I'm drawing a complete blank here. Not the Cabal. God dang it!
Not even I can help you on this one because you got me lost as well.
The enemy on Earth, the
Fallen,
the Fallen. Yeah, if we could play as Fallen, I mean, how awesome would that be?
Be something different.
It would be something different. It would be kind of cool. I mean, you go out there and you're playing as Varix or whatever. That's.
Oh man, he's a gimp. I wouldn't want.
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. No, that would be kind of cool. Like, oh, hey, one of our vanguards is now Varix, and it's kind of cool. But whatever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the beta. Just being hands-on, getting the chance to actually try it out. The sound is phenomenal, especially if we had a soundtrack from David Samuel.
That's my man. I'm telling you. Bungie, you want to do? You kind of stepping back here with the salt and everything else. A lot of people were highly upset over what Luke Smith said. He shined at the reveal, and then when it comes to a one-on-one interview, I don't know what happens. Like poop emojis keep running out of his mouth. Luke hasn't said a whole hell of a lot within the last few weeks. Okay. And if I just do a general overview of most of the forums and, everything else like that, some of that salt in the salt trucks, they're not out there as much. And with the last couple reveals that they've had with IGN and what they've put out there, and especially the one with Samuel in there, I'm like, heck yeah. It's got that hype train for me pushing forward again, so Luke's still a big part of it, so on and so forth. And it's going to continue to be that way. But man, play to your strengths and stay away from your weaknesses. I originally said in episode like 1 or 2 or the reveal, I said how this snowball is just going to roll, keep rolling down the hill and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it seems like the more everything came out every week, man, that thing was just getting beat to live in hell down to nothing. And now it's been kind of quiet. They've been showing these reveals and people are getting more antsy. You got the beta coming up next week. And the hype train's back on the tracks, and to me, it's leading in the right area.
Oh, it's chugging hard, man, and I definitely can't wait for it. All right, so I think that's going to do it for our show today. If you liked anything that you heard, feel free to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and also on iTunes. As always, we do the show live. If you have any questions, we will be taking live chat questions towards the end of our show in the not-so-distant future. If you have any thoughts or questions, email us at destinyexpanse@gmail.com. That is one word, destinyexpanse@gmail.com. We'll be doing a mailbag also in the not-so-distant future. So get those questions in. Today's fun fact: eating too much salt can kill you. In ancient China, it was used as a method of suicide. Watch out for taking too much salt. It's bad for you. Charger, final thoughts. Go.
All this salt and sodium talk. Oh, boy. Here's one thing that I know when I'm speaking for this, I'm speaking for both me and Quasi on this. there's times that we have sat down and we've said some things that we dislike about the situation. We talk salt and we talk about this, that, and everything else. Destiny is a game that we both enjoy very, very much, and we've put a lot of time in. We've got our clan, we've got the people we play with in the community, and you know, I'm extremely happy with all the above. So when something like with what they do comes out, if there's something that bothers us, yeah, we are verbal about it. That doesn't mean we don't love the game. It doesn't mean we're not going to play the game or anything else like that. We're seeing a lot and we're commenting on that, but we're going to let this game come out and we're going to give this game a more than fair chance to prove itself and get to where it needs to be at. So when we talk about the salt and everything else like that, don't think it's because we hate the game. There's a lot of things in this game that we feel very adamant about. I mean, but with Destiny but what Bungie did on Destiny 1, they actually went into sociological behavior to see how they could make the game more addictive. Well, let me tell you, it worked on me. That's all I can tell you. And I want the best for the game. I want the best for the community. I want the best for my clan and anybody else that's listening on this channel. So with everything dying down on that salt aspect, we're going to end this one on our best foot forward, looking very much forward to the beta. Please keep your emails and other questions coming forward. As like Quasi said, we will be reviewing those, or get on the chat, because like I said, this thing's going to be live, and I think we're going to keep it live as of this point in time, simply because it keeps us a little bit more on our toes.
Oh man, it's kind of scary.
Well, it is, but you know, get a little nervous, a little butterfly action going. But I guess I'm going to end it. So for me and Quasi, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you out there soon, Guardians. Take care.
Take it easy, guys.